How do you store your Commander deck? In a plastic bag? The forbidden rubber band? Or stored alongside your tacos in the big box meal? The thing is, I gotta figure a solution out. So I want to come up with a deck box that I can customize to whatever commander I want. And I need to make these so that the deck boxes can stack and be stored on a shelf neatly together. Alright, so I used a program called Tinkercad to come up with the basic shape of the deck box. You can see here, it's very easy to use and to make precise dimensions. So here we have the cover can slide out, and you'll notice a slot and a window in the front. That slot is wide enough to fit a sleeve card, and that window should line up with the picture on most Magic cards. And then the most important thing is that both of these sides are identical. So you don't need a left side or a right side, you just need two sides, and I'm planning on making them so that you can mix and match different designs. So you can get two different designs on either side. And I think that should make a really cool customizable deck box. Alright, so I went and I printed the front panel as a test to make sure everything works. And as you can see, I had this as a rectangle and the print actually fails. Right up along the top there, it's not straight across. And that's because there isn't enough support there. I'd have to add supports in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make kind of an arch shape. That way I don't need to worry about any more supports. And another thing I found out when I printed this test is that if I put a card in, depending on the sleeves that you're using, you can see here, there's actually, you can see a little on the bottom, where you can still see the border of the card. And on some sleeves it's even more, so it's like that. So I'm just going to increase the depth a little bit of this slot. We're also getting pretty close to the top. The Ultra Pro sleeves tend to be a bit smaller, but whatever brand this is, I'm not sure offhand what brand this might be Dragon sleeves, is a little bit bigger. So we're going to keep trucking along with a couple of changes. Alright, so the final version, I added these panels on the side of each of the side panels. And these little indents should be the place where we can put any design we want. And same thing on the front, you have a little bit of a panel here. And I decided that my first deck box I'm going to actually make for my newest commander that I've been playing is Glissa. And she's a Phyrexian, so I added the Phyrexian logo just on the top of this cover, and hopefully I can make a few other covers with a few different logos on it. This one was pretty simple. And now you can see what I'm going for in those cutouts out of the side panels. I'm going to put designs, and I decided to start off with just kind of the mana symbols, but I made them a little bit more complicated than the standard mana symbols, and I gave them a cool background. So here's the panel, the side panel, and then what I've done is I've created just a plane. And to get the texture on the plane, I'm going to use something called a displacement modifier. And what the displacement modifier does is it takes a two-dimensional black and white image, and it creates a texture using that image. Basically, anything that is white in this black and white image is going to be raised up. Everything that's black is going to be pushed down. And as you can see here, gray is somewhere in between. So we got this really cool texture. And we didn't have to sculpt anything. All we had to do was create a 2D image that was black and white to represent the different heights. And I'm going to show you the quick process here on how I create those textures. So I have a Photoshop file, and I kind of made a template that would make it easy for me to duplicate different sides. So here we have a circle, and then I decided for white I was going to do a chainmail, and I was able to get this chainmail from textures.com. You can go to a site like this, and what you want is a height map, and that's technically what it's called, the thing that we are doing. And so I go ahead and just download this height map, and that's what I used on this file here. I also use Canva because Canva has a really good library of graphics, and the graphics are customizable, and I found this sun, and it actually matches kind of the white mana symbol pretty well. So I decided to use that. A little bit different, but instantly recognizable. And this pattern has some cool cobblestone in the back. I just felt that this seemed like a castle, so that was fitting for the white mana symbol. Then I can just send it over to the slicer. And the really cool thing about the way we made that texture is that when we're slicing it for 3D print, we don't need any supports. This is for a resin printer. There won't be any islands on this. And we can look at it from above. As we look at the individual layers, everything is connected. There aren't any little white dots out in the middle of nowhere. And if you've ever done resin printing, islands are the biggest problem you can encounter. It's why it's really important to have good supports. And with this, we actually don't need any supports at all, which is really sweet. I had this really cool green resin that I decided to print in. I figured it was appropriate for a Glissa deck, a Phyrexian black and green deck. And what I did was I printed the sides and the front out of resin. And I used PLA for the back, the top, and the bottom. PLA is a little bit stronger and also a lot cheaper. So it was really cool that I could work with both the materials to do kind of a custom thing here. I thought it turned out pretty good. I'm just using super glue to combine them all, and I'm using the top to make sure that everything is lined up. And once it's all assembled, we have a completed deck box. And here you can see the test one that I also printed out. I think it turned out pretty sweet. All right, here's the finished project. I think it turned out really sweet with the clear green resin, especially for Glissa. It works out really nice. I can easily pull the commander in and out of here. It's gonna look really good on a shelf. I can get a whole bunch of them. I can print them in different colors. If you wanted to paint them, you could definitely paint them. I think this is going to be my solution moving forward. I really like too, there's plenty of room for tokens and extra little things you need in there. So if you want to make your own version of this deck or choose different mana symbols too, I'm going to put all the files on my Gumroad. There will be all 5 of the mana symbols, as well as the Phyrexian and just the magic logo available to print. You choose any 2 sides, and then you can print any front you want, and you can print the back, the bottom, and the top out of PLA if you want, or resin. It works either way. I'll also put the Blender files and the template for the texture on the side. So if you wanted to make your own designs too, you could do that. I might put up a step-by-step guide on how to do that. It is a little complicated. You probably need to know a little bit about Blender to do it yourself, but it's certainly achievable with a little bit of work. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.